verdict. Amber Heard says Johnny Depp abused her. Depp says Heard abused him. So what's the truth? She should already be a loser in this case, because if you date someone, if you are, it doesn't matter what kind of excuses they give you. And of course, these feminists, these anti-white feminists, feminism just being a subset of the superset that is anti-whiteism, they always love to come in and they love to have the argument that a woman is powerful and strong and can do anything that a man can do, except she can do it better. And then at the same time, they make the argument that a woman is so weak and can be so easily deceived and manipulated. And they're always weak and deceived and manipulated by men. They make both arguments so that they can have victory in both places. It's pretty obvious to us who are serving white well-being how this works. Just to the rest of the population, they scratch their sloping foreheads trying to figure it out. But if you're dating somebody, if a woman is dating somebody, and it doesn't matter if he buys her a pony or he buys her, and he did, I think, and a bunch of other things, that all doesn't matter. If that person then beats you up, which she claims that he did prior to while they were dating, long prior. If he forces himself on you in that stage of dating, the moment you say "I do" is the moment you say "I accept that treatment." You can't then go back and say, "Oh, that wasn't good that he beat me and raped me then. That wasn't good," and then that continued into the marriage. Too bad. You have said "I do" to that kind of behavior. The argument that, well, she had an opportunity to get into a marriage with a really rich guy, and who's going to pass that up? So therefore, no, that is preposterous. The moment she said "I do" is the moment she said, "I'm okay with being raped. I'm okay with, being cavity searched. I'm okay with being beaten." The claims that she's making here, we don't know exactly what took place. It sounds like to me in these audio recordings and from the testimony, you have two extremely dysfunctional people, which, welcome to Hollywood. What do you think anti-whites are going to hire? Anyhow, these people, if you haven't been able to ascertain this yet, they have no power in and of themselves. They have no ability to make their way through the world. They would be in the gutter if it weren't for anti-whites of extreme wealth and power tapping them on the head and saying, "You, my dear, will be a star. Now get on the casting couch and spread your cheeks." And that works for both males and females. That is how Hollywood works, a disgusting place. So the fact that our people worship these folks, the reality is, really think about it. I'm going to get right back to this. Think about this. We talk about this and go free. The population looks at the movie screen, the TV set, and they see these people pretending. And consciously, they know they're pretending. But in their subconscious mind, they think it's real. You see, Johnny Depp is this wonderful swashbuckling character. He swings in on a rope, he smashes through a window, and he has some sort of eyeliner delivered witty and most pithy quip, and then poof, he's gone. Wow, wouldn't it be something to live with somebody like that? That is their reality. And so they travel around the world, some of them from Australia, to the once wonderful fair town of Fairfax, Virginia, the county and the city itself here, and the new buildings right beside the antiquated ones. They travel here to say justice for Johnny on their signs and things like this, because they're not looking at Johnny or Amber as adults who pretend things for a living. They're not looking at them for what they actually are. If you looked at them as people who pretend for a living, they're not carpenters. They might pretend to be carpenters. They're not brain surgeons. They might pretend to be brain surgeons. They're not astronauts, but they might pretend to be them. Then it seems very foolish, doesn't it, to want to get their autograph, to follow them around from town to town and want to take photographs of them and have your picture taken with them. It's preposterous. And when you have somebody who's not the best carpenter, brain surgeon, or astronaut, because they've dedicated their lives to these things. They have to be productive. They have to have a stable life so that they can work this profession and be a master of their profession for their life, so that they can earn that respect at some point in the future, which means that they can't be living lives of degeneracy day after day. Unlike an actor, a pretender, who can live a life of degeneracy and get clean or get in shape and be eloquent by way of a script for a very little, minute period of time in their lives. This truncated period of time. This is all they need to do. They just need to pretend. We very rightly were able to identify these people as charlatans in the past. Somebody who could pretend to do something in front of you, and but then if you could see another moment, you would see that it was all a ruse. But no, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference, because it believes Johnny Depp is a swashbuckling pilot that sails out of the mist, people behave this way, psychotic with no end. Johnny Depp, by his own words, he's a great example of exactly what I'm talking about here. He had never had a class in acting. He did not want to be an actor. He was a substandard musician. He went with a group of friends. They gave their band a name down to Southern California, and they were a flop. They weren't going to go anywhere. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were no good, because being the best doesn't secure you a spot in the limelight, whether it's in music or acting or what have you. Being decent with a lot of anti-Whitism behind you, that is far more likely to secure you the big money and the stage and the lights and the glitterati than anything else. Nonetheless, the band collapsed, and Johnny, by his own words, started filling out applications to work at places like laundromats. That's how much education and training this young man at that time had in the world. Laundromat. How many other laundromat employees do you follow around with a sign about how wonderful they are? Do you try to get their autograph? Do you try to have your picture taken with them? Do you fly to different cities to see them? Do you read about them in magazines? Zero. But that's what Johnny was going to be. Had he not had a friend in acting, I believe that man's name was Nicholas. Was it not? Was it Nicolas Cage? It was one of these guys. I don't follow them. And that guy, who was just struggling, and he wasn't going anywhere either, as an actor, said, you should talk to my agent and see if you can get an acting job. We make a ton of money when you get work for doing nothing. And so who knows what kind of price Johnny had to pay. Maybe he had to bend over and do more than cough. But he got an opportunity to read for the movie Nightmare on Elm Street, and he got a role there. And then still no acting education. You have people who get into acting at a very young age, and they train pretending, but they train and they never see a day of any good money. This guy shows up. He was very handsome and had beautiful hair, and apparently that's all you really need when you're a pretender. So he was immediately hired to a television show, 21 Jump Street. And then I believe it was maybe during that series or after that series that he began taking acting lessons. He said, acting is just something you learn on the job. This guy needs a script to even talk. Have you ever listened to him try to string sentences together? It is excruciating. Amber is just as bad, except there is some, when you look at Amber, tell me if this is not the case, there is some real evil there. That woman is not right. I believe she lived as a homosexual in a relationship with another woman, and then there was I guess some domestic violence charge or something of this, where she was maybe beating on the other woman. And then afterward, they said, oh, no, it was the white police's male's fault. They blew it up out of proportion. we were just beating each other to death or whatever it is. Now, picture this. You have Johnny Depp's just colossal mansion and colossal mansion and colossal mansion and island and sports cars and yacht, and Amber shows up. And she's like, where do I gotta, where can I put my back and spread my legs? And then all of her friends and family, they start showing up. They're like hanging out. They want to like use the pools, and they want to use the sports cars, and they want to use, and Johnny's is like, well, whatever. I mean, she's getting on her back for me. And then they have all of this tension because they're wrecked people, because he's using all of these kinds of drugs. Amber saying in the courtroom over these past couple days, of course, now, like what we have on our title, that Cocaine Johnny is different from Quaaludes Johnny. She's dealing with a guy who is addicted to substances, so much so that she can tell the difference between the substances. She's being hit by him. She's being groped by him. These are all her claims. And what is the other side of this? Seriously, what is the other side? What is she getting? Why isn't she running away? Well, it seems like she was availing herself to all of these wonderful things that this guy owns. And she was looking really important to her friends. And oh my gosh, you're dating Johnny Depp. And oh my gosh, you're marrying Johnny Depp. And so she put up with it. She put up with it. She said, I do. And I think that, in my opinion, that's that.